A library is a place to be free.
To be in space.
To be in cave times.
To be a cook.
To be a crook.
To be in love.
To be unhappy.
To be quick and smart.
To be contained and cautious.
To surf the rainbow.
To sail the dreams.
To be blue.
To be jazz.
To be wonderful.
To be you.
A place to be. Yeah. To be.
My earliest memory of the library is sitting cross-legged on the floor, books, lots of books, stories about fairies and witches and mystical creatures.
Wait quietly by the counter for the busy lady. She must be very clever to work in this library.
A hushed apple of new carpet. Taking my stack of books to the desk to be checked out and deciding which to read first.
The peace of people reading together in quiet, surrounded by walls of books.
From which I could produce work to show everyone that a girl can be good at woodwork.
The most marvellous thing happened when I was about 8 years old. Our village got a library, a modern concrete box that held the key to a magical other world full of excitement, magic and adventure. Books change lives.
Welcome to Alnwick. How lovely to see you. Welcome to my home. Did you come far? Oh, from Haltwhistle. Oh, well, quite a long way then. Was the weather okay? The roads icy? No, good, very good. Lovely. Welcome to Alnwick. Nice to see you. Back row, nice to see you. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed honorary librarians from across the county, welcome to Alnwick Castle. It is with great pleasure that I, Lord Percy, 8th Duke of Northumberland, open this first ever conference organised by the County Rural Libraries Subcommittee on this day, the 24th of August, 1929. I do hope that you had a good journey here today.
If you require any assistance with reclaiming your travel expenses, thank you.
Thank you. And so, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I should like to invite to the stage our delightful county librarian, Miss Ruth Baker, B.A. She is a young woman brimful with a love of books and an enthusiasm for leading others to know their delights. Miss Baker!
Thank you, my Lord Duke. What a wonderful occasion for all librarians from across the county to meet here in such beautiful and inspiring surroundings. We are extremely grateful for your generous hospitality. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome, and thank you for being here today. As you are aware, It's 5 years since the Rural Library Service was established here in Northumberland, and I was honoured to be appointed your county librarian. I travelled to live in this magnificent part of the country from Kent. Being the daughter of a librarian and author, and myself having a degree in English and a diploma in librarianship, you can all be reassured that I am passionate about books. My aims for the conference are to firstly celebrate what we have achieved so far and to share plans for the future development of the service over the next 10 years. I'd now like to call upon two of my assistant librarians, Miss Charlton and Mr. Cunliffe, to share with you a summary of our achievements to date. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Baker. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to be able to tell you that with grateful thanks...
Calm down, dear, and do speak up.
Excuse me, Miss Charlton's new to the service. Miss Charlton, take a breath. It's okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to be able to tell you that with help from the Carnegie Trust to buy books, we've got over 15,000 volumes in circulation. These include books for adults and for children, and cover a range of subjects including economics, agriculture, religion, fine arts and handicrafts.
We also have a purpose-built bookstore in Morpeth. This is where our book delivery van is housed and loaded before being sent out to more than 100 villages which now have a small library, often housed in a local school or women's institute and run by volunteers. We change the books roughly every 3 months.
Indeed, news of our Northumberland Library van service has even reached the city of Edinburgh, where a recent newspaper article described it as a model for keeping the rural population abreast with trends in modern thought and activity.
Thank you, Miss Charlton. Thank you, Mr. Cunliffe. It's rather remarkable how much we have achieved in a relatively short period of time. And to reach the national newspaper. I'm very proud of our van. Last year, it travelled over 7,000 miles and delivered 85,000 books. She will talk to us about how the service works in her village and how they are encouraging more readers. Miss Thompson.
Thank you for inviting me here today, Miss Baker, my Lord Duke. Ladies and gentlemen, Cambo Library is open in our school twice a week. But as I live nearby, I'm more than happy to give the key to any reader who would like to come to the library out of official hours. Many of our younger people know how to register their own books and can do it for themselves if I am busy. We have about 40 children who travel to the school by bus from a 6-mile radius, and they carry books home to their family. A romance for mother, an adventure for father, and I sometimes add an easy non-fiction book too. We find the grown-ups in these parts are a little behind the time with their reading. I would like to tell you that we have established a very successful play reading circle, which has about 20 members. The group can borrow a set of 12 scripts from the library, distribute it amongst themselves, and take turn reading the parts. It is a fun way to spend an evening, and it has an educational germ behind it too. We recently did an evening for the children reading Toad of Toad Hall. It was very successful. I highly recommend it to other villages. Thank you.
Now, turning to the future, I have a number of plans that I would like to action over the coming years. Recently, I walked from Rothbury to Campbell stopping for tea at a farm near Simonside. I got talking with the farmer and soon realised he had no contact with Cambo's school and he too needed books. I've therefore introduced a postal scheme so we can send out books to those living in the rural parts of the county. That reminds me, we also have a marvellous postal scheme for our students. They can borrow technical and scientific books from the Students' Library in London, and it's free of charge. Now, we'd like to open more library centres. So, can I ask if there's anyone here today who's interested in volunteering to run one of the library centres? To please come and talk to me or one of my staff at the Morpeth Library. Finally, I'd like to expand the whole library service into the urban areas of the county. Ideally, to open branch libraries in places like Alnwick and Wooler. In the meantime, can I ask all of you here today to spread the word about the service and encourage everyone that you know to use it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Baker, and everyone for that inspiring and insightful talk. It is clear that you and your team have brought about a huge change in the reading possibilities for men, women and children across our county in just a very few short years. And now, ladies and gentlemen, before we break for luncheon, I should like to ask if there is anything else that anyone would like to raise in our meeting today.
Yes, I would like to say something. It has come to my attention on the Education Committee that there have been several incidences of inappropriate behaviour by members of the general public in some of our libraries. And I wondered what Miss Baker and her staff intend to do about it.
Indeed, that is correct, Mr. Thompson, and thank you for raising it. I am aware that there has been some very poor behaviour from some library visitors over the last few months. My staff and I would therefore like to propose and adopt the following rules.
No lying on the benches, chairs, tables or floor of the library.
No partaking of any refreshments and no smoking.
No audible conversation and no obstruction of any library official.
No dogs allowed. And finally, no damaging books, magazines or periodicals.
Well, I didn't realise that these things were causing such a problem. I'm really quite shocked to hear about the behaviours of some people in our society nowadays. Anyway, hopefully a clear set of rules such as these will act as a firm deterrent.
Yes, thank you for the information, most comprehensive. I shall refer them back to the Education Committee and recommend that these rules be adopted as a set of bylaws throughout the county with a fixed maximum penalty fine of £5 for anyone who breaks them.
Hear, hear. And so, ladies and gentlemen, our conference today is drawing to a close. As Chancellor of Durham University, and as an author myself, you know, my book, The Shadow on the Moor, will be published next year. Do seek it out, madam. And now, I would urge you all to reflect upon the service that the admirable young Miss Baker and her team have described. The future of the Northumberland Library Service depends upon the continued use made of its existing facilities, and I'm sure we're all very proud of it. It behoves us all here present today to give it our full support. Thank you. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, luncheon will be served in the Great Hall. Thank you. How lovely to see you. I do hope you enjoy your luncheon. Nice of you to come to Danik today. Did you come far? No, jolly good.
Bring out your books!
We need your books.
Bring us your books!
Bring us your books.
Don't
Don't let your lovers slumber. We need your books. We need your Jane Austen and your Anthony Trollope. We need your Charles Dickens. Give us your books. People of Northumberland and Durham, we need your books. Millions of books have been destroyed in warehouses and publishers' premises during the London Blitz. So we need your books, old and new. The Ministry of Supply says it needs 5 million books from you, the general public. So give us your books, help to support our troops and save our country.
Sir, excuse me, sir. I have books. Will they be of any use?
Oh, everything is of use, madam. Oh, yes, very nice. This is a general call for books of all ages. The Ministry of Supply will decide what goes where. The oldest and most decrepit of books, they will go for repulping and the manufacture of munition. Anything in better condition will go to support our troops, both at home and overseas, and to support the Women's Land Army, and they will be used to resupply our local libraries what has been damaged by enemy air attack. We all know how important our libraries are for maintaining British culture and heritage. Not like them Nazis and what they did with their libraries, burning books they consider un-German. Terrible.
Terrible. Well, there you go.
Thank you, madam.
I just wanted to be of some use. I'm
Oh.
glad to be able to help.
Excellent.
Not like that librarian, Donald Tersham. Did you hear about him?
No.
1 month's prison for refusing to do fire service?
No.
I wonder if the library will keep him on after that.
Well, I suppose the Education Committee will have to decide, but thank you for these, madam. That's lovely. Good day to you, madam. Well, the Scrutiny Committee will have to decide, but Mr. Woodhouse's books are being taken off the library shelves. Banned for the duration of the war, you understand. And the BBC too.
Why?
Nazi sympathiser is what I've heard. Certainly a weak-kneed fellow, in my opinion.
Oh, well, I suppose his books should be pulped.
Yes, most likely, madam, but we'll have them anyway. Thank you very much. Thank you. Next, bring us your books. We need your books. Bring us your Charles Dickens and your Jane Austen. We'll have your Anthony Trollope and your old magazines. Bring us your books to support your troops and save our country.
Growing up in the Cotswolds in the 1950s, I had no access to a library. So imagine my excitement one day when a library van called outside the front gate. Toot toot it went, toot toot. I thought, the library van's here. Oh, thank you. Oh, it's cold. You got your books? Oh, there it is. Oof.
Good morning, Mrs. Simpson.
Hello, John. Oh, I'm so glad you made it out in this foul weather. How's the road?
Oh, a bit dodgy in places, but we couldn't leave you out here in the sticks. We're out a good stack of books now, couldn't we,
No,
Mrs. Simpson?
indeed.
So saying, here's the selection I prepared for you. It's the usual, like romances, and even threw in an adventure story this time.
Oh, how exciting. Oh, here are the books from last time. Do you know I've read every single one?
You certainly are a keen reader, Mrs. Simpson.
Yes. Oh, this mobile library is a lifesaver for people like me out here in the countryside. People so far and few between. Without you and Margaret here, I'd be stuck with Mr. Simpson going quietly mad.
And how is Mr. Simpson?
Oh, he's all right.
I think we might be able to find something he'd like to read.
Oh, I don't know. He's quite happy with his Farmers Weekly. He thinks literature is a waste of time.
I always say there's a book for everybody, Mrs. Simpson. Why don't we try him on this? Released last year, Lord of the Flies. It's about a group of schoolboys who are forced to fend for themselves on an island after their plane crashes.
Well, I don't know. I'll try and encourage him.
What about you, Margaret? Anything caught your eye?
Yes, please. I just have these today. Thank you, John.
Oh, John, when are you next here?
2 weeks' time, same time and place, but after that, off to pastures new.
Oh,
Why, John, where are you going?
I'm going to become a teacher out in Cumbria, so I'm moving west.
I used to be a teacher, you know. I think you'll make a lovely teacher, but we're going to miss you.
I shall miss you too. You know, this year's really been wonderful, driving the mobile library around Wooler. You know, I often dream of writing a book for children, set in a valley very much like this.
Oh, could we be in it?
I'm sure you will be.
Oh,
Yes. I'm thinking of the adventures of a village postman.
Oh, well, could he have a cat?
That's a good idea. The children will like that.
Oh, yes.
Yes, a black and white cat. I should have to think of a suitable name. Right, I best be off. I'll be late for my next stop. And
The weather's going to rain, I think.
yeah, she best be inside before that rain cloud gets to us.
We'll see you next time, John. Thank you.
Cheerio.
All right, okay, have a
Cheerio,
nice
Margaret.
step, dear.
Hello.
Is this the mobile library?
It is, yes, indeed. Do come in. You must be new to these parts.
That's right, I've just come up from Birmingham to stay with my widowed aunt. She's been a little sick. Mrs. Moore.
Mrs. Moore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear she's been poorly. I hope it's nothing serious.
Well, the doctors are looking after her and they'll be doing some tests.
Well, please give her my very best wishes.
Oh, I will.
She's a lovely lady. I'm Miss Baker, the county librarian. And yes, this is my mobile library van. I call her Bessie. I'm very proud of the van, to be able to come out to these rural parts of the county and bring books.
It's wonderful.
I guess it is really, yes. With no theatres or cinema and certainly not many shops, it's important that country folk can borrow books. Is there anything in particular that you're interested in?
Well, my aunt likes traditional English cooking, but I like to experiment a little bit. I spent some time in North Africa as a nurse during the war.
Oh my goodness, that must have been exciting.
Exciting and dangerous. It's much quieter here.
Oh, it is, yes.
Anyway, I heard of a cookery writer called Elizabeth David, and I wondered if you had any of her books.
Yes, actually, we do.
Ooh.
I have this one of hers. It's her book of Mediterranean food. She collected recipes from Italy and Greece and Egypt. Innovative, really, yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Mind you, can I just say, I'm not sure how many of the ingredients you'll get out here in Haltwhistle.
Oh well, I will just read the recipes and imagine what I might cook when I get home to Birmingham.
Whilst you're here, could I interest you in any fiction? Perhaps for yourself or Mrs. Moore, to while away those dark, wintry evenings?
Yes, yes, yes.
This is a very popular book, Dr. Zhivago.
Ooh.
It's a Russian love story. Perhaps you'd quite like to have a look at that one.
Well then, thank you.
Can I just say, however, that we do have a policy about borrowing books to people who may have an infectious disease. So depending on what the doctor says about your aunt, you may need to let me know. Return books would need to be disinfected, and we have had to destroy some books.
My goodness. I certainly will. But let's hope it's not that serious and
Let's
she'll
hope.
be better soon.
Let's
I'll
hope.
take these.
Thank you very much. I'll just get those stamped for you.
Miss Baker, Miss Baker! Oh. You need to come back to the Morpeth office immediately with the...
Oh, Miss Charlton, take a breath. What's happening?
We've had the Birmingham Post, the Journal, the Daily Mail all on the telephone. They want to know what you think about this business last week with that young lad, Kenneth Dixon.
Oh my goodness, the national press. I am terribly sorry for this interruption, but I must leave immediately. But I'll be back in 2 weeks. I hope to see you then. I'll give you the books.
Thank you.
Miss Charlton, can I have a cigarette, please?
Headmaster, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we have a serious problem.
Why, Miss Humphreys, whatever is the matter?
It's Kenneth Dixon, Headmaster, one of the fourth formers.
Ah, yes, young Dixon.
Well, if you remember, he won a school form prize again last year.
For the 3rd year running, I believe.
Yes,
Clever lad.
Yes, well, it seems...
Mrs. Goodfellow, how lovely to see you.
Headmaster, Mr. Jones, I want to know what on earth you were doing polluting my son with this filth.
Well, I don't know.
When I first heard that he'd won a form prize, of course, I was very proud. But when I asked him what he had received as a prize, he showed me this. I was appalled. Headmaster, have you read it? Do you know what's in it?
Well, of course not.
Well, neither have I, of course. But I did flick through a few pages, and it is disgusting, Headmaster. The ending is horrible. It's disgusting, to say the least.
Oh, it's not that bad.
Shut.
Miss Humphreys, could you possibly explain what could have happened here?
Certainly not, Headmaster. I had nothing to do with the prizes. The children went off to the bookshop, chose their books, and left the selection with the school office. Now, I'm sorry, Headmaster, but I have some urgent filing to do. I have to go.
Dixon, my boy, is this the book you chose?
Yes, Headmaster.
Well, why on earth would you choose such a book?
I didn't know it would cause all this fuss. It's a best-selling novel, and I'd seen the film, and I really liked the story. It's all about young people, like me, growing up. The film was fine. I didn't know the book was different.
Mrs. Goodfellow, I'm terribly sorry for any distress this may have caused to you or your family, but I can assure you, here at Bedlington Grammar School, we strive to uphold the very highest moral standards. Your son is an intelligent and decent lad, and I'm sure he chose the book in all innocence. This is indeed a most unfortunate incident, but I'm sure the school could find a way to replace the prize with a more suitable book.
I should think so too. And in the meantime, I'm taking this book, we are going home, and I'm going to dispose of this book before it can corrupt Kenneth or anyone else. In fact, I'm going to burn it. Throw it on the fire. People need to know about this.
No,
Come,
please.
Kenneth.
If you could... Oh dear.
Yes. Well, all I can say, in my opinion, is Peyton Place is a most unsuitable book for a boy of his age. It's vulgar, disgusting, and dreadfully sexy. And personally, I can't condone the burning of books.
Kenneth Dixon won a prize. He looked at the choices offered, one caught his eye. Quite a disgusting book. Why not think of something more appropriate? It's It's a distressing book, dreadfully sexy book. Choose something more acceptable, take a look. But it's a vulgar book, quite a disgusting book. Why not think of something more appropriate? It's a distressing book, dreadfully sexy book. Choose something more acceptable, take a look.
Ban the book!
Burn the book!
Throw it on the fire!
I had seen the film at the ABC. It was all about young people growing up like me.
He's a very nice young lad. This whole Peyton Place controversy is so sad.
But it's a vulgar book, quite a disgusting book. Why not think of something more appropriate? It's a distressing book, dreadfully sexy book. Choose something more acceptable, take a look.
You want to burn me? You want to banish me? What, me? Peyton Place? What an honour!
Numbers. Yes, all of the stories you have heard tonight may seem strange, but they are in fact completely true. So now let's get on with the next act, which is
It's a little bit saucy.
saucy,
I don't
yes.
think there's any children here.
So ladies, please hide your blushes.
It's called
Called?
Locked in the Cupboard.
Oh, locked in the cupboard.
Are you there?
Yes. Are you still upset, my ladyship? Or would you like to talk about it?
Oh, you've heard it all before.
It helps to get things off your chest. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
This time, it was a young lad. His friends had been talking about me, so naturally, he wanted to find out for himself.
Don't tell me. The librarian feared losing their job. A stickler for the rules. They couldn't possibly let you out.
The boy was almost 18, but the librarian was resolute, said, come back in 3 months' time. The boy will be interested in other things by then.
Let's hope not. Librarians don't realise how frustrating it is for us. Locked in this cupboard are beautiful covers hidden from the world, replaced on the shelves by those ugly wooden blocks.
I want to be on the other side of this counter, in the library proper, amongst the other books.
Nestled beside a well-thumbed biology textbook.
You devil. Interesting, though. I'll bet that librarian hasn't read either of us.
It's only when we're in people's hands they can share in the power of our words. Appreciate Lawrence's beautiful language and imagery.
I want to be out in the open with everybody else. Why are we so frightening?
We're trailblazers, ahead of our time. That's why those in power fear us.
The clerics, the politicians, they're the ones who lock us up. Ordinary people can't wait to get their hands on us.
You're right.
Thanks for talking, it helps.
Any time, your ladyship.
Oh, what's that?
Sounds like a key turning. Which of us will be chosen?
Inspiring creation.
Cultivating love.
Oh, let's hope so. Maybe they'll take us both.
That would be wonderful.
Did it have a happy ending?
Yes, look, What a inspiring, charming tale.
Yes, I thought it was a bit funny under the shelf.
Well, you know.
Those sort of books? Well, I don't know, no.
Anyway, what's the next one up?
Well, we've got a group now. There's not one, not two, not three, not four, but five.
Five.
campers, five. And they're talking about what's left inside.
Oh.
Inside the books.
Inside the books, bring it on!
I have never been so uncomfortable. It's so rough. And I'm sure it's damaging my spine. When you read Shakespeare, you should be consumed with the bard, not giving yourself a manicure. And don't put the file in my pages. I'm now full of nail bits, and it feels disgusting.
He's a rather handsome young man, quite charming, very dashing. He often visits the library. One day, he placed something between my precious pages. A male escort card. Inside me, the classic story of love and romance, I felt defiled.
She was lovely. Tall and thin, into yoga and clean living. It was her that took me out of the library. He was a piece of work, always criticising her, undermining her and putting her down. And talk about passive aggressive. There was no passive in what he did to me. Putting a piece of bacon inside my pages. Me, a vegan cookery book. I ask you, men.
3 crisp £20 notes. Oh my word, I knew exactly who they belonged to. It was Maud's pension money. She was always such a bright lady, an avid reader, but recently she's become a little bit forgetful. I didn't know what to do. I'd have to think of some way of returning it to her. I knew she needed every penny, but how to get it back to her?
It's absolutely revolting. Oh, it's always the same with these students. I've got crumbs in my spine, my pages are smudged and smeared and stained, and now this horror of horrors. A banana skin placed between my leaves as a bookmark, and me returned in that state, ready for the compost heap. Oh, revolting!
I want to know, did Maud get her pension money?
I don't know, but 5 fabulous tales
Yes.
in a fascinating act.
Yes, lovely.
And listen, are we got some more time? I know that we're coming to the end
you
of
can't
our...
stop yet, there's one more act to go.
Oh, one more, and who's that?
It's me!
Oh, it's you! I didn't know that you... Yes?
It's quite a sad tale, so...
A sad tale.
So, sad face.
Sad face.
Perfect.
What's it called?
It's called Left on the Shelf.
Bring it on!
Good morning.
Oh, hello.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm just coughing because of all this dust.
Are you sure you're all right?
Well, not really. It's that new girl who works in the library. She just puts you anywhere. Yesterday I was sat between an encyclopedia and a book on French literature, and then this morning she shoved me up here. Mind you, last week I was put in romantic fiction. That was an eye-opener.
Can you budge up a bit?
Well, not really. Since they put War and Peace down the end there's no room. Tell me, when were you last taken off this shelf?
Well, I fell off once. I think they were doing stock taking.
No. What I mean is, when were you last taken out?
Oh, August the 5th, 1944. I remember it well. A young girl came in with her grandmother. I think they wanted to make Yorkshire pudding. The next thing I knew, there was flour and eggs and milk all over me. I don't think they noticed. As soon as I got back to the library, all my pages are stuck together. Nobody will take me out now, and I really wanted to be like that book down there, the shiny one, with lots of pictures.
No one's taken me out in years. The last time was this little boy named Philip. He was so excited to find me, couldn't wait to get me home, and for 2 whole weeks we were inseparable. He even used to read me at night under the bed sheets using a torch when he should have been asleep. I suppose he's all grown up now. Not really interested in children's stories anymore.
What are they going to do with us when they don't want us anymore? Are they just going to throw us away or recycle us, or even they might shred us? Oh, that might hurt.
Another day gone. Maybe someone will take us out tomorrow.
Night.
Night.
Oh, wonderful! Though rather a sad little tale to end our evening's entertainment on. Mind you, that can just be the way of the world. 1 minute, you're up there at the height of your career and popularity, and then the next, you've fallen in the gutter. But you're looking at the stars.
Oh, I like that.
So, campers, that is the end of tonight's activities. One thing I have to say, do not forget, you can still vote for your favourite act. And now I think I have a few things to say. Good night, sleep tight, and we'll see you all again tomorrow night for another edition of Bring It On! With Tracy, a round of applause, and all of the acts, a round of applause, and also for the Good night, thank you, good night.
I am certain that the library will be used in full measure, and that this building will become a dynamic feature in the future of this town for the people. And now, I would like to hand over to Sir Nicholas Garrow, who is going to open the building for us. Sir Nicholas.
Ladies and gentlemen, library staff, boys and girls, thank you so much for the invitation to be here today. Now, whilst I am aware that the securing and conversion of these buildings has indeed involved a great deal of hard work, money, and at times some criticism, I must congratulate the Library Committee on what it has achieved. Nothing can be got without the spending of money, but when considering the cost, we must also consider the service that is obtained for the expenditure. We must remember the pleasure in the use of books that this new library will afford. The reading of books opens the gates to a world of fancy and imagination. We must delight in the joy of reading, and this whole project is quite clearly a very rich investment in terms of human happiness and enjoyment. And so, to the highlight of today's ceremony. Are you ready? Please, if you would be so good to move the lectern. Thank you. Okay, it is my great pleasure and honour to declare Holt Whistle Library well and truly open. Let the celebrations begin.
Come and celebrate our libraries. Come and celebrate our libraries. Step inside, look around. Come and get your library books here. We have got a brand new library. We have got a brand new library. Step inside, look around. Come and get your library books here. Libraries open, time to read. Adventures waiting, yes indeed. Fiction, fact and mystery. Come and celebrate our libraries. Come and celebrate our libraries. Step inside, look around. Come and get your library books here.
And they're free!
Yay!
Save our libraries!
Children need books!
Libraries!
Children need books!
Save our
Children
libraries!
need books!
Save our
Children
libraries!
need books!
Save our
Children
libraries!
need
Our
books!
library.
Children need books!
Don't steal.
Children need books!
Save
Children
our
need books!
Save our
Children
libraries!
need books!
The 1960s and 70s saw the expansion and flourishing of library services in places like Ashington, Bellingham and Haltwhistle. But at the beginning of the 21st century, many of our libraries across Britain were under threat. And yet libraries are essential for so many different people. When I was a child in Whitney Bay, I used to love to go to the library and choose the biggest books to read in bed when there was ice on the inside of the windows. Reading helped me develop an inquiring mind. And I was the first in my family to go to university and to specialise in access to education. So we need to find ways to keep our libraries open.
Yes. Between 2006 and 2007, 71 libraries closed in England.
Jeanette Winterson, author, says, I was a rough, tough kid, not much good at school apart from words. We only had 6 books in our house, but I had the library. I loved that building, built for the working classes, built for me. And when at 16 I left home and lived in a mini, I went to the library all evening until it closed.
In 2009 on the Wirral, 11 of 24 libraries were closed.
Dr. Seuss, children's author, said, the more that you read, the more you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go.
From 2010 to 2016, 350 libraries closed and 8,000 library staff lost their jobs.
Billy Connolly, the actor and comedian, says, when I was an unhappy wee lad, going to the library changed my life. Books are your free ticket to the entire earth.
Carol Thurloway, artist, says, when I was young, the Nook Library in South Shields was wonderful, a magical place for me in my growing years. I found new worlds in there. It nourished me my whole life. Unfortunately, now it supplies a different type of food. It has become a supermarket.
In 2012, Newcastle proposed to close nearly all its libraries.
After a massive campaign, 14 libraries now remain, many of which are also community hubs.
David Arman, North East writer, said, "Our little local library was very important to me. It was where I was free to read, to explore, to discover new books and new writers. The library is one of humankind's greatest creations."
Linda France, Northumberland poet, says, "Growing up in a house with very few books, my fortnightly visits to the library opened a door to a world of wonder and meaning. I read, therefore I am. I am, therefore I write. I can't and don't want to imagine a life without libraries."
So how can we protect and support our Northumberland libraries?
Well, in Northumberland we have 30 libraries, and the council says there are no plans to close any of them.
In fact, the library at South Beach in Blyth recently reopened.
As well as the Northern Poetry Library, recently reopened in Morpeth.
Additionally, £220,000 has been spent on 3 new mobile library vans and will continue to serve the rural parts of the county.
6 libraries are now run by community volunteers, including Ellington, Heddon and Hayden Bridge, where I live.
Northumberland libraries are now so much more than just books.
They are warm community hubs with computers, information and advice.
Welcoming places for refugees and safe spaces for young and old to meet.
Knit and natter groups.
Story times.
Climate cafes.
Music and performance spaces.
So much has changed in all of these years. So much for us to celebrate. 100 years of Northumberland libraries.
Many happy returns.
Hooray!
100 years of books.
100 years of books.
With
And cards and stamps.
And shrug the shoulders, looks of
Over glasses carefully poised.
and silent gestures to cease all noise.
But 100 years ahead, and we have this instead.
Where
Computers,
Singing.
talking,
reading,
Watching.
working,
kissing,
Not breeding.
laughing,
smiling,
Being loud.
and even eating lunch is allowed.
So let's
Rejoice in the text.
flying up from each book.
100 years making.
That's all that it took.
Let's hear our Northumberland voices cheer.
Our library centenary celebration is here.
Voices cheer. Our library centenary festival's here. Rejoice in the text, flying up from the books. 100 years making is all that it took.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear libraries.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear libraries. Happy birthday to you.
Cake!
Cake!
Cake! Let them eat cake.
Hooray!
After 3,